Hey there guys, the PC guy here, and for the lack of a better video for today, I thought it would be nice to explore a future build, or well, kind of hesitant to call it a new build, because it's mostly just rehousing the current build that I have for the most part. Not gonna be replacing hardware just yet, it's all pretty good and functional, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. But as you might know, if you have followed the channel for a while, I am using at this point a desk PC mod that I made myself about a year and a half ago. And while I am pretty happy with it and the way it turned out, considering it was my first try at it in both modding and the whole building a desk kind of issue, that all turned out reasonably well. However, it does get a bit frustrating now and again. I could have done some things better to make it more manageable, but also with doing the channel that I am now doing, it becomes difficult to, every time I want to test a new part or do maintenance and film and stuff like that, I basically have to clear out the entire top of the desk screen and all. And yeah, that's definitely not handy. I also like the space to work on it if I want to do adjustments in the future. Things like, for example, if I would want to do a custom loop or anything like that, it would be extremely difficult to do it right now without the space to work on. And for that reason, I am kind of looking to, kind of find a new home for it, let's say, and with whatever I can get for it, I will be using it to rehouse my PC. So it's not so much of an upgrade as much of a rehousing and, well, a few nice little touches along the way, depending on how much I get for it. So I'll get you through the list of the things that I'm planning to do with my build and what parts I'll be going through. First of all, the case, and I really am kind of set on the lian-li's O11 Dynamic XL for a number of reasons. First of which is the budget is pretty much on point with what I am expecting to get for a desk, and it's not so much that I couldn't get it otherwise, but it's more of a matter of I kind of want it to be not an investment, but more just recouping what I sunk into the desk, basically. So I don't want to go further than what I'm planning to get for it. In any case, the budget is on point, and as far as features goes, the O11 Dynamic XL is pretty impressive. As you can see, it has that showcase kind of look to it. It has plenty of I/O at the front, which I will detail in a second, and a pretty interesting look that has been gaining momentum lately, which is the side intake in place of the front intake. This case has been a staple of a bit mid to high-end recommendation in terms of performance and as well as ease to, for example, water cool in the future, but it also should perform reasonably well in airflow, especially considering the crazy amount of air intake that it has. It has some nice gimmicky stuff, like for example hot swappable hard drives that you can just add without having to actually take apart your PC to add more storage, so that is always handy in the future, and I will touch on that as well in a moment, which is also one of the points I'm hoping to upgrade at the same time. The dimensions should be easily manageable for the biggest of components, as well as leaving you ample room for water cooling if you wish to go that route. It's not planned in the nearest of futures, but it is definitely in the cards for later on, especially after the next generation of NVIDIA graphics card launches. It supports anything up to E80X. However, for optimal fit, you probably would want to stick with ATX. However, there is an extension panel that you can use to support bigger motherboards than that. It is kind of ROG certified, so it works best with AuraSync. The panel, the little light that you saw at the front of the panel is AuraSync compatible, so it's definitely advised to go with ASUS if you are going for a case like that. However, it is probably possible to just mod it or use an adapter for other control softwares. Something that kind of is slightly annoying is the ROG certified on the glass. It's not a sticker, that is actually etched on the glass, so yeah, you are pretty much stuck with it. The airflow is a strong point in this case, whether you water cool or not. It is more suitable to water cooling, but it has a strong airflow regardless, with supporting you can see the whole thing here. It supports 360 on the side, either 360 or 280, both at the top and bottom, and an optional 120mm fan at the back if you so wish. And both top, bottom and side support radiators for just the crazy amount of water cooling potential. As far as connectivity goes, the front I/O has that ROG compatible light strip, like I mentioned, which, let's face it, it's not the most important part, but it's a nice touch, as well as power and reset, as you might expect, HD audio, USB Type-C connection, actually no, scratch that, 4, because this has another 2 here at the bottom, USB 3.0 jacks, as well as RGB control buttons if you are not using Aura to sync it. So if you have another brand, you can use this to actually control the RGB on the front of the case. Just a quick remark, those USB ports are really nice. I am struggling at the moment with all the hardware I've connected for example, the mic for recording, the camera, all that sort of stuff. I have to constantly be plugging and unplugging things, and having all those extra slots as well as whatever is at the back of your motherboard, naturally, that will really be the icing on top of the cake. It supports vertical GPU mounting, which I do not advise unless you are water cooling. The PSU goes at the back in a separate chamber, and it has a pretty spacious chamber at the back for cable management as well, so that definitely helps keeping the system tidy, and it avoids the need for a PSU shroud, while also freeing the bottom for some fans or a radiator even. As far as storage capacity, you can fit a whole 4 HDDs in there as well as 6 SSDs. However, some of the SSDs, if you want to get the whole 6, they would have to be mounted on the side panel where the fans go, so you would be sacrificing some cooling potential. So in practice, if you want optimal performance, you would be able to fit at most 3 SSDs in there and not the whole 6. However, we all know that SSDs can be pretty much flopped around basically anywhere, so you could, in theory, just flop it somewhere in the back chamber, velcro it to some surface, and we'll just call it a day. Dust control is also taken very seriously, with dust filters on all the intakes mentioned, as well as a nice little touch of collaboration between lian-li and EK water blocks for a distro plate designed specifically for this case in particular, that will fit here on the side where the fans are also supposed to be if you are not using the water block in particular, the distro plate that I just mentioned. Something that also I was considering if I did end up with this case, and if I ended up water cooling and such, is the side intake. When the fact that the distro plate is supposed to go on the side intake, it does free up the front, which is just, well, a glass panel for some visibility for your components to look at them. I have thought of the possibility of maybe it might, this is just in the back of my head, fit perhaps a little mod in there, like an infinity mirror type of mod, for example. So that's something that I would love to explore whenever I got around to that. So yeah, enough drooling about the case. It's a good case, it's well recommended by a lot of builders out there, and it definitely is a good option no matter what hardware you might have. Other than the case, there's a little few things that I would like to add to it, like for example extra storage would really come in handy. I would 4TB or something drive. Considering I'm backing up every video I upload to the channel, you can think how that might add up quite quickly to fill up the 1.5, I believe, terabytes of storage total that I have on my PC, and that's including games that I use for testing, games that I actually play, B-roll, the videos, Windows installations and programs naturally. So yeah, that all adds up very quickly, and that is something that I would be looking to add as well. The actual useful stuff aside, these RGB strips are budget permitting pretty attractive. They are from Fantax, they're the digital RGB neon LED kit. They have a bunch of measurements from 2 times 40 centimeters, I believe, to 50 centimeters and a whole 1 meter. They are daisy chainable and all that sort of stuff, provided your header can provide enough power for all of the ones you want to daisy chain, that is. And they are flexible, and they look pretty nice, as you can see. And this is not just the preview picture made to look attractive for people. I have actually watched reviews of this and all, and the very good thing about this is not only are they completely flexible and you can mount them however you want, but they also have very good light diffusion built in. They barely have any hotspots, so you know how if you are looking at your LED strips or fans, you might see where the LEDs are, that the light is a lot stronger, and here it seems to be diffused pretty evenly along the strips, which is definitely very interesting. It is compatible with most major RGB sync softwares. It is not compatible with, for example, Corsair, which is not really a problem right now, considering I have no Corsair gear. But if I were to, for example, go with the Hydro X series when I try my hand at water cooling, then it would potentially be an issue. However, ASUS has been taking steps to allow a bit more synchronization between IQ and Aura, so by that time I hope that's a bit developed and a bit further along. There's already mods out there that allow for that anyway, but having it supported in an official manner would definitely be a big plus. Not looking to replace my fans or anything, but if the person who would end up having a desk would be interested in taking them as well, then I would probably consider some IQ alternatives. Some really good Corsair fans are out there with very good looks, and let's face it, the Thermaltake ring that I'm using, they looked good at the time that I got them, but in the meantime a lot better things have come out with, like I mentioned, a lot better light diffusion, which is the weak spot on these fans. To be honest, you can clearly tell where all the LEDs are. That's really all that I am thinking right now of getting with as a replacement for the desk when I do eventually find a buyer for it. There are other things in the future that I've planned. I've mentioned before in other videos when the new NVIDIA series comes out that I am looking at potentially upgrading my GPU, but that's still who knows how long in the works, because we have heard no news at all regarding that, and there is really nothing else wrong, nothing really that I will replace with my PC. So yeah, it's hard to call it a new build when you are just really looking at a new case and possibly a hard drive at the moment. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that the water cooling, like I mentioned, is in the plans. However, in the more distant future, after the third generation, well, 3000 generation, I guess I should call it, NVIDIA cards, if they end up being called like that even. But yeah, it's in the plans, but not really for the coming months or even weeks. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and yeah, keep following the channel, and eventually you'll get to see it. Now, this has been it for my little slight analysis slash show off of the things that I am planning to move my PC to and upgrade it with. Let me know what you guys think of my part choice, specifically the case, and as well as what you guys think of what brand. I guess I should go with the hard drive because honestly it's going to be cold storage mostly. Not going to need anything super crazy. I'm thinking of either a Seagate Barracuda or a WD Blue 4 terabytes, 7.2k RPM, something like that. But if you guys know something that is price competitive and performs better or has higher capacity, then I would be happy to hear that. Let me know also what you think of that idea about the infinity mirror on the O11 Dynamic XL. I'm not quite sure how much space there is between the glass and the fan sine intake, so not sure how doable that is, and actually fixating it might be an issue, but that's an idea that I would be open to explore, and I'd love to know if you guys have seen anything like that in the past that I could actually take as reference. So thank you for watching. Again, let me know what you guys think, drop a like if you have enjoyed this video, and consider checking the rest of the channel and subscribing if you like it. That would help us grow in the future, have more hardware to play around with, make better videos for you guys, and well, just a better experience for everyone. So I hope I'll see you guys in another video, and in the meantime, have fun.